Joel McCrea was an actor who made a name for himself in lighter fare before deciding he only wanted to do westerns. That decision came after he appeared in the 1946 film The Virginian. By the time of his death in 1990, he was as much of a Western legend as any of the characters he had portrayed in his numerous films. Join Facts First as we explore how Joel McCrea was exactly the kind of man we'd hoped he'd be. Joel McCrea was the real deal. To most people, Joel McCrea was a legendary actor who lent a good deal of credibility to his acting roles. But to his grandson, Joel was a rancher first and foremost. His grandson's name is Wyatt, and he's recently been converting his grandfather's old ranch into a museum meant to carry on the late actor's legacy. Wyatt spent quite a bit of time on his grandfather's ranch growing up, but he didn't realize his grandfather was also an actor until one day during his school years. When Wyatt was 10, his teacher casually let slip that she had seen his grandfather on television. Wyatt had no idea what she was talking about. That evening, he returned to his family home and asked his mother and father what his teacher meant. Lo and behold, Wyatt was given the revelation of his grandfather's stardom. It doesn't seem as if Joel McCrea was keeping his means for paying the bills a secret. Rather, it seems Joel's time working as an actor was so unimportant to the man, it never came up naturally in conversation. Instead, Joel's attention and passion were all directed firmly at his ranch. Despite the fact he started out as an actor and became quite wealthy because of it, he grew to consider himself more of a rancher than a thespian by the end of his days. Joel McCrea went from actor to rancher. His transformation from actor to rancher was gradual. He started out performing in lighter fare before making a name for himself in westerns. After performing in the 1946 western film The Virginian, Joel decided he never wanted to work outside of westerns again. Given that he rarely talked about his acting, grandson Wyatt grew to think of him in a much different light than much of the public. Realizing his grandfather was actually a big Hollywood star didn't change Wyatt's perception of the old man, as Joel was still the loving and hard-working figure he'd always been. When Wyatt thinks of his grandfather today, he thinks of him working on the ranch. Although Hollywood didn't mean much to Joel McCrea certainly meant a great deal to Hollywood. Over the course of his career, he appeared in nearly 100 movies. His career spanned around 5 decades, though he still considered himself a rancher first and foremost. The government initially took issue with Joel listing his occupation as a rancher on his income taxes. However, they were forced to accept that Joel really was a rancher when they came knocking on his door, and he showed him his calluses. As a half-actor, half-rancher, Joel McCrea had a great deal to prove in both fields. His work as an actor gave him money to fund his ranching endeavor, and his work as a rancher gave him some standout authenticity on screen. Though Joel was initially faking it on the big screen like anyone else, there came a point where the actor truly stepped into his western roles. Before we tell you more, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already.
This video is brought to you by Shaker and Spoon. Shaker and Spoon is a monthly cocktail subscription box that delivers the craft cocktail experience right to your front door. Each month, you'll receive a box with 3 unique recipes in them. You'll get to try out different liquors and quality ingredients without having to individually purchase all of the items. I ordered the Begin Again box, which features gin-based cocktail recipes. I was really impressed by the quality of the ingredients, which ranged from fresh rosebuds to delicious syrups and garnishes. The first recipe I tried was for a cocktail called Play It Cool. The recipe card was super easy to follow, and it's without a doubt one of the most delicious cocktails I've ever made at home. So if you're interested in delicious, complex drinks made simple and delivered to your front door, check out Shaker and Spoon today. If you click the link below and use the code FACTSFIRST at checkout, or go to shakerandspoon.com/factsfirst, you can get $20 off of your first box.
Joel's grandson is paying his respects. Joel McCrea's ranch once spanned well over 2,000 acres, but grandson Wyatt has whittled the land down to a little under 300 by donating the majority of the property to the California Park Service. This donation allowed for all the buildings on the donated land to be given status on the National Register of Historic Buildings. Grandson Wyatt is converting the remaining 300 acres into a museum in honor of his grandfather. Wyatt says he's doing this so that he can preserve a piece of California history. The news that Joel McCrea was just as much of a Western legend off-screen as he was on should come as a pleasant surprise to those who may have feared he was just another Hollywood phony. While John Wayne was busy rationalizing the fact that he never served in the war, Joel was getting his hands covered in calluses on his ranch. His affinity for ranching made him a natural when it came to horseback riding, and he was considered to be one of the best riders in Hollywood. He even had a good sense of riding before he became a rancher. Wyatt was nearly 30 years old when his grandfather died, and he's since gotten married and started a family of his own. While he's sad his grandfather isn't around to see his blossoming family, he's glad his family is around to help him pay respects to his grandfather with the creation of this new museum. One of Wyatt's favorite memories of his grandfather is when Joel took him out for ice cream and ended up buying ice cream for every kid in the vicinity. Joel was certainly a generous person, and he liked to share his wealth with as many people as he could. Joel grew up around Hollywood. Though Joel McCrea ended his life on the ranch, he started it in Hollywood. Joel was born in South Pasadena, and happening across film shoots was a common occurrence as he was growing up. His physicality and athleticism allowed him to start working as a stuntman during his high school years. Following this, Joel became more and more interested in acting. He explored his acting talents while attending Pomona College, during which time he could be found performing at the Pasadena Playhouse. It wasn't long before he started appearing in films. His first role in a film came via 1929's The Jazz Age, and more films followed. His first leading role was in the picture The Silver Horde, which led to him getting signed with RKO Pictures. Over the course of the 30s, he starred mostly in romantic comedies. It wasn't until the 40s that more Western roles started coming his way. Prior to that, some of his biggest film roles were in hits like Union Pacific and Foreign Correspondent. Another classic film he appeared in around this time was the Preston Sturges-directed Sullivan's Travels, which was released in 1941. Joel was a true Western legend. Joel McCrea's first big Western came in 1942. It was called The Great Man's Lady and also starred Barbara Stanwyck. A Western called Buffalo Bill followed in 1944, and 1946's The Virginian came next. It was on the set of The Virginian that he decided he never wanted to work outside of the Western genre, and he made good on his promise and went on to appear in a number of notable Westerns over the course of the next few decades. One of the many memorable Westerns he starred in was Ride the High Country, which was an early feature from director Sam Peckinpah. Sam went on to turn the Western genre on its head with the ultra-violent The Wild Bunch, putting an end to the traditional Western for good. The grittiness of The Wild Bunch could be seen as a critique on the phoniness of Hollywood Westerns, but Joel McCrea was an antidote to this phoniness well before the iconic Western film premiered. Still, a wholesome guy like Joel McCrea had no place in the Western genre once things started getting bloody, and he soon packed up his bags and retired to his ranch. He was married to the same woman from 1933 until his death, actress Frances D. Together, the pair had 3 children. Joel passed away from pneumonia in 1990, and Frances passed away in 2004. Joel was 84 when he died. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Joel McCrea? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.